off a lot of the paint, but I managed to get the ridge line in. And I'm in a different position here. I decided that I can paint the same mountain with a different foreground. And so I'm working on getting the mountain first, and then I'm going to basically insert this park, sans those trees, so I have a more complete panoramic view. But I'm kind of cherry picking the foreground features. And we were going to go live yesterday. We were kind of caught up in things, but mostly the legal stuff. There's been some interesting developments, just waiting. But we will be live for open phones today. There's a lot to talk about. And I want to talk about something that Musk has been saying. Because he has a certain spin on things that it's like you can simultaneously tell the truth, but also keep people entirely in the dark. And he's a master of it. And I have some tweet I want to look at and determine if it's real or not, where supposedly, I think Grimy says space is so fake or something, but I'm not sure. I have to verify that tweet. You have to auto-hoax every screen cap tweet. Like, if it's real, post the source. It's just too easy to make fake tweets. This entire website's dedicated to that. But yesterday we talked a bit about entrainment. The entrainment, which is really what entertainment is about and how it all works and how it explains predictive programming. And I'm not here to debate. I'm here to preach to the choir, more or less. Because there's no purpose to try to drag people up a few levels here when they're still under a spell that will probably take years to break, and it has to break from within. So I'm not even interested in people who are still stuck in the false paradigms, and paradigms, plural. You have the mainstream one, you have the alternate ones, some self-styled paradigms, which are mixes, where you can explain things like, oh, Trump was going to be assassinated by the deep state, so he faked his assassination. Like, that makes no sense. We make sense. Agnosticism makes sense. We don't make extraordinary claims without evidence. But anyway, this is just a heads up. I'm going to be here working on this for a little while here until I use up the rest of this. And by the way, I found this yesterday. I couldn't figure out what it was. Turns out it's a guitar pick. So there are musicians in these hills. What's up, Pete Trippa says, I have a lot of your artwork. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember you purchased some butterflies. I think you commissioned them. But I'm not using this entire scene. This is just a segment of the same mountain. I'm going to have to relocate. This isn't going to be the final spot. There's some hummingbirds at war over here. I never realized how territorial birds are. Like, the robins are vicious. I've seen hawks going after roadrunners. Apparently that's a thing. I checked on the Albuquerque Reddit, and a lot of people are observing big hawks coming down and going after roadrunners. I watched 3 hiding under a tree. I watched, this is a weird coincidence, but a couple Augusts ago, I stepped out my front door, and at the time I was on the 2nd floor, eye level with the tree branch, and I watched a hawk murder a dove, a pigeon. And as I walked down the stairs, the body tumbled down the trees and landed at my feet. I took a picture of it. And the reason why this stood out to me as significant is that I was the subject of a civil suit, and the magistrate's name was Hawk. Chad Hawk. And I opened the door to go out and go on the Zoom conference, and let's find out what Chad Hawk has to say. And I thought, okay, this is ominous. I see a hawk murder a bird. And sure enough, I lost. I lost, but I won. If you understand what the whole point of it was a victory. But yeah, I technically lost a case, but it's an uncollectible case, and eventually I'll have that overturned. It was malicious prosecution. Like, I laughed at it because I knew what it was, but I just took that as a sign. I get bird signs. We have this local Burning Man thing. It happens in Santa Fe every year, and this is the 100th anniversary. And I did submit that piece, and they accepted it. So I have to get it framed, and the next week I'll drive it up to Santa Fe. And it's just a local artist show, just a bunch of paintings from a lot of people that will be displayed a week up to this Burning Man thing. So it gives me an excuse to get up there. Yesterday it was violent storm clouds, violent and threatening storm clouds. None of the happy, poofy Bob Ross stuff. Today it's just clear. No, they're not spraying today. A lot of people were worried for me because they thought that the rain dumping on me was going to blind me because of the nanobots in the stratosphere that the stratospheric aerosol injection crew puts up there. I felt the nanobots crawling on my skin. Look, there's one. See that? I'm trying not to incorporate any dead bugs into the art. But if one gets dragged in, it's like not much I can do about it. Like the Great Wall of China and all those workers in the cement for all time. You know, now that I think about it, AstroCre, it's a proposed building material for building bases on Mars. Supposedly, they're going to mix blood, human blood, with the cement. And the cement, well, it's going to be blood and Martian soil. So real blood and soil stuff, which has interesting connotations. But the idea, of course, is mixing blood, saliva, and sweat with the regolith. You'll have a stronger brick than if you're using regular cement. Because you can't ship bricks to Mars. You can't load up a rocket with bricks. You have to bring your own building materials. So you are part of the building materials. And what does that say about, recyclability and sustainability? That when you die, you just get ground up and made into, bricks. Just trying to break up here between the background and then the foothills, because everything gets flattened when you get a certain distance. But I've hiked these enough, I know where the hills are, and I'm trying to delineate here with the dark green lines. We'll do the detail later, and I also have a better view somewhere else of the towers on top. And I'm going to leave the clouds from yesterday, and I photographed those extensively, so I'm going to come back and fill those back in. All right, a lot of dogs here. The dog didn't sign a release form, so sorry. All right, we'll be live later today. I'm just about at my stopping point, maybe about 2 more minutes here. And I'll choose the foreground later. I'm still trying to decide exactly on what. There's this other location a little further up in the canyon where I could probably just have cacti instead of this, boring green grass. They have exotic plants. In fact, just over this hill, they call it the pollinator. And it's it's one of these areas where they're just trying to, they've gathered a lot of exotic species of cacti. Nice collection of desert flowers, and if you don't have allergies. And I may use that as a foreground. So that's probably where I'll go next. Lord Laney says, when I heard sand and dirt are just decomposed people living on a mound of corpses, soil gets turned into every mud flood. Yeah, there are people who think that mountains are like the bodies of giants, because some rocks from certain angles look like faces, or elephants, like petrified giant elephants. And that's called pareidolia. Epiphania is what we do when we make all the connections in the news. Pareidolia has to do with shapes. Although what we're doing only looks like Epiphania to people who don't know what media is. I was just saying it to be ironic. It's like, no, I know the difference. Like, we can show receipts, and it's outside of even the sharpshooter fallacy. You know, we're not making extraordinary claims, and our predictive capabilities show that what we're doing is just effective film criticism. And we figured out their genre, and we figured out most of their special effects. And we're just critics. Okay, we'll continue this in a bit. I think I'm at a good stopping point, and I will see you all in chat then.